He is a neoclassical pianist, composer. He has performed sold-out shows around the planet, and what you are about to look at is his last appearance on our show. Notice the distance between us. That's right, that was the first COVID year. That interview was back in December of 2020. He is joining us for the first time since then. It is a great pleasure to welcome back Martin Mayer. A little closer, which is nice.
I know, I feel like I should be doing this now, right?
Time flies. It is a great pleasure to have you back. We've got lots to get to, including your new release, the Solo Piano Collection and book. But a big part of we wanted to have you on today, I ran into you in January and I said, hey pal, what have you been up to? And you said this.
Yeah.
Which blew me away. And I want to tell our folks right now, you last time, and again, we're looking at it right now, last time on the show, December 2020, I didn't realize that you'd been in an accident earlier that, I guess the year before.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything, performed lovely on the show. I didn't realize at the time you were suffering from something that I've never heard of before, neurogenic thoracic outlet syndrome.
Yeah.
You were in an accident in 2019, had no idea to the extent of what had happened. You pick it up from there.
Yeah. When I played for you on that segment, I didn't know what was happening either.
Wow.
I came in that morning figuring, my hands are just cold, right?
Yeah,
it's Vancouver, it's cold outside. We get cold, the rain and everything goes in, and I figured something just doesn't feel right? So I'm gonna warm up on the piano, and I played, and stuff just didn't feel right. And I knew that at that point, 2 months later, I was doing, another performance and another interview, and it was the same thing. And it's like what had happened is I was coming home from a concert tour in China.
Yeah.
20 cities in 30 days, right? So grueling schedule as it is.
Yeah.
8-hour layover. So I picked myself a nice hotel and I say, okay, I'm gonna, take some time for me, right? What happened is I got picked up by a hotel shuttle, and we're not 2 minutes out and the guy slams on the brakes. Human instinct is to brace yourself like this.
Right.
For a concert pianist, absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
This guy was dislocated to the point of 90 degrees, so it wasn't like this, it started looking like that.
Yeah.
This one was sprained, and just shockwaves through the body, mass amounts of pain. All of a sudden, I'm thinking my career is over.
You're done, yeah.
Rushed to the ER, they're thinking, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna just reset this. And you have to almost fight with them in a language that they don't understand, I don't understand theirs. You can't just put this back in.
Right.
It has to be x-rayed, you have to do whatever it is, warm compresses and all that sort of stuff, because this is my work. And I try to explain it, and it doesn't land. And then I pull out my phone and I show the tour poster, and they look at it, and all of a sudden somebody calls out and 7 people fill the room.
They do what they can. You come home.
Yeah.
And again, you jump ahead to when we meet you and you're on the show.
Yeah.
And as you said, something's just not feeling right.
Yeah, something isn't feeling right. My GP sent me to a hand specialist who said everything looks fine on the x-rays. They did the tests and the everything and the grip strength and all that. What nobody tells you is when you're on the type of medication that you need in order to get through this pain and to deal with the physio, it turns off all the signals in your brain that don't listen to the hands going, hey, this is too much, this is too much. And then when they wean you off the medication, that's when the alarm system just goes insane. Right. And I woke up at one point at 3 o'clock in the morning feeling like somebody had taken a sledgehammer to my hands.
Wow.
I went from being able to move a 750-pound grand piano on a stage to not being able to lift this cup. If I had lifted this up, it would have dropped and broken instantly.
And I'm trying to gather as much as I can here. So basically it's 233 appointments with 21 specialists, ketamine infusion treatments. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Years of clinical depression.
Yeah.
And again, not that it doesn't matter to a person who isn't a classical pianist, but this is your career and your life, and you're dealing with the pain.
Yeah.
You finally realize at one point when you're in physio that they get you to do one thing, and I hope our camera can pick this up, but you did one simple exercise that put the light bulb off on somebody's head. Yeah,
so it wasn't even the exercise, it was the notion of when you're dealing with as much pain as I was in, and Jim, there wasn't anything for it.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent to like if you break your leg and they just keep saying, oh, just take Tylenol. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the other part of it too is that that type of medication only does so much for the pain,
Right.
but it messes with everything else. And as you were talking about, it was for us when we did the interview, it was sort of at the start of, we didn't know how long COVID was going to be, but for me, it was 4.5 years of appointment after appointment. You can't see friends. Friends can take you out to take your mind off of this. And I remember being at physio once and just throwing my head back, being like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just so much pain.
Yeah.
And as I did this, the pain in my arms disappeared.
Unbelievable.
And I said to my physiotherapist, this is what's going on. So what she does is she has me extend my arm, turn my head to the right, and feels my pulse here. And when the pulse disappears here, it means that it's something called, as you said, neurogenic thoracic outlet syndrome. So what that is that between the collarbone and the first rib, there's this little gap. Well, it's not a gap, it's an outlet, right?
Right.
And that's where the nerves and the blood vessels and arteries and everything that go from the neck and the heart go into the arm and down into the hands. And it was a direct result of that whiplash of the body, right? When you think about the amount of force that it takes to dislocate a finger, that amount of force is felt throughout the rest of the body. So what had happened with that, and it still is interesting how, when the hand surgeon said, the issue is not in the hands, it's further up, right? When you experience hand pain somewhere, they always say, oh, the issue is there.
Yeah.
But we're so connected to the rest of it.
And once we want to work toward the end of this segment by talking about something positive, what you're clinging to as well as you're starting to heal and get healthy mentally and physically, is you're actually creating. Which leads us to what, as I mentioned off the top, the solo piano collection and book. It talks about everything, musically and poetically. Tell us about this, your latest, and I'm going to assume your proudest release.
I would say it's probably the most personal one. And the reason for that is it's the best of, the solo piano pieces that I've written over the past 30 years.
Right.
Even when I couldn't play, I was still, on the iPad and notating and humming and all those ideas. And when I was able to get back to the piano, the first piece that I knew that I was going to play would be something that would just be something that would be inspired by everything that I went through. So it's a piece called New Beginnings.
Right.
And that is the single that came first from that album. And the cover art for that is something that I haven't shared before, which is an art piece that I painted in art therapy when they said,
oh, wow.
What do you imagine your life to be after you've gone through this? And so it is a sunrise, reflecting on the water. And so New Beginnings starts with, that sort of somber feeling to it. But then once you get into the other side, it has that feeling of like, I can play again, right? It is coming out the other side. And the solo piano collection is the most personal and most proud that I've been.
Last question, you've got fans all around the planet.
Yes.
As you continue to recover, is there touring? Do you see touring globally in your near future?
I do, and I would see it a little bit differently. I now consider myself not just a concert pianist, but also a storyteller.
Right.
What I'm hoping that sharing this does for somebody else is what A Stranger's Story in New York did for me, which is that while I was going through this, they shared their story on NBC News and said, I've been playing with pain, this is what helped me, and all that sort of stuff. That, along with what happened in physiotherapy, changed the direction. So if me sharing the story can help somebody else, not just here, but also in concert.
That's right.
That's my hope.
Hey, listen, it's been great to have you back after this a number of years. I'm glad you're on the road to recovery. As
Thank
you said, you're here, you seem healthy and happy. We should also mention again, the solo piano collection and book, also more information at martinmayermusic.com. We will have a longer version of this discussion podcast of our website. Martin, thank you.
Jim, thank you.